Dean says we're about gone. Okay, we're on. We're sitting here telling stories about kids, our kids. You know, they're good. I'll tell you. I'll finish that later. Okay. How you doing tonight? I got news for you guys. I stepped out a while ago, and the first thing I said, it's going to snow. It is. Have you looked? Do you feel it? The temperature's probably dropped about 15 degrees. And it's going to snow. It won't stick, but it's going to snow. Trust me. Okay? And it is gorgeous out there. Hope you had a good day. I've had a very excellent day. I've been reading, studying, and sleeping. So, it's not a bad day. It's a good day of rest. Okay? Tonight, we're going to be bouncing around again. Man. We're going to be starting in Romans chapter 3. If you want to get there. Then we'll be running to Psalms and then to Peter before it's done. 1 Peter. So Romans chapter 3. Here, questions again. Always questions. From the time of man's fall, we'll put it that way. From the time of man's fall, okay? You got to remember now that was back in the garden, okay? And we've had a long time since then. The sin that's in our world has changed man a little, a very little. But since the time of fall, we are still predictable. We are still a sinful nature, a sinful lot. We are egotistical. We are not humbled. We have problems with our mouths. We have problems with our attitudes, and we have problems with helping others. Everything that the church stands for and should stand for, we've had a problem with. Okay, as Christians as a whole, as humans as a whole. Okay? I got a question for you, and I'm still trying to find this answer. You know, it used to be that a neighbor helped take care of a neighbor, and a man stood on his own feet, and when he really needed help, his neighbor was there to help him. Okay? We don't have that anymore. We have people that'll go by and see somebody laying in the street and just keep on walking or stepping over the top of them. Our uncaring heart, our calloused heart, is one of the worst things that we have. Our tongues, it used to be that if you heard a curse word back when I was a kid, even when I was a kid, yeah, if you heard a curse word from somebody, ooh, that person was a bad person, you know. Now I've seen 4-year-olds that cuss people out. That is not an exaggeration. I've seen it at Walmart. A 4-year-old cussing out his dad. Okay? Now I hate to tell you this, that child wouldn't be alive very long with me, because if my boys did that, I would pick them up right there and I would smoke them where it counted the most, on the butt. Okay? But we have gotten to that point as a people, as a race of people, a so-called very caring lot, that we don't really have much hope. And we don't have much care for anything or anybody except ourselves. Okay? So tonight, we're going to be in Romans chapter 3, and we're going to start this all out here. I got to have to know, who do you have faith in? Because I'm going to tell you right now, my faith is in God, and my faith is in God through Jesus Christ, who came and bore my sins on the cross so I can live as a free man. Now, do I fail? Yes, I do, because I am still a man. But when I fail, I know what to do. I go to God, and I ask for forgiveness. And I don't waste time in doing it. Because I know the longer I harbor this inside me, the worse it's going to get, and the more likely I am to do it again. There's a key there. Okay. Romans chapter 3. We're going to start at verse 9 through 18. And I am in an NIV tonight, guys. What shall we conclude then? Are we any better? Not at all. We have already made the charge that Jew and Gentile alike are under sin, and it is written. Here it is. There is no one righteous, not even one. There is no one who understands, no one who seeks God. All have turned away. They have together become worthless. There is no one who does good, not even one. Their throats are open graves. Their tongues practice deceit. The poison of vipers is on their lips, and the mouths are full of cursing and bitterness. Their feet are swift to shed blood. Ruin and misery mark their ways, and the way of peace they do not know. There is no fear of God before their eyes. Guys, if that doesn't describe us now, you're missing the picture. Because it described them then, and it's 10 times worse now. We have let sin into our lives because of what we do, because we have replaced our God with another. My God is a God of heaven. Everything else is useless to me. It's a convenience that God lets me use. I am the steward of all his things that he lets me have possession of. You notice how I say that. I am the steward of all that he lets me have possession of. I'm not going to take it with me when I leave this world. It's real simple. It's going to be somebody else's nightmare then, for them to take care of it. But it is not my God. My God is in heaven. He controls this world. He controls this earth. And Jesus Christ is his Son who came to this earth so I may have freedom. I am not under the law of the Old Testament. The law is still relevant as a moral compass and as what we should do. And we should try to maintain the law, but we are not fixed on the law because we are saved by grace. Okay? With that said, why, as humans, are we so bent in our own destruction? It's real simple. If you maintain that lifestyle you are still keeping, you are bent for destruction sooner or later. But I'm going to tell you, with most of you guys, it's going to be sooner than later. There is morals and ethics that you have to conform to in this world, believe it or not. Okay? What happened to us helping our neighbors? What happened when we would not even start to say a curse word? Okay? Now I'm bombarded by it 24 hours a day, it seems like. Because even if I'm sleeping, I can hear them still cruising down the road, going to their homes at 2 and 3 in the morning with the beat going. And that's all I hear. Okay? We have got to be a people that gets back to God. Now, as God's children, Do you ask for guidance from God, for protection from God? Do you stand on God's words and principles? Do you help take care of your neighbor? Does truth come out of your mouth when you talk? Or are you constantly trying to play somebody? It's real simple. I have to know, because I know what it is for me. Okay? But I can only speak for me. Let's go to Psalms 140. When people start talking about you, when people start aggravating you, when people start lying about you, when people outright just try to harm you, who do you turn to? Psalms 140, we're going to go 1 through 5. Rescue me, O Lord, from the evil men. Protect me from men of violence who devise evil plans in their hearts and stir up war every day. They make their tongues as sharp as serpents, poison of vipers is on their lips. Keep me, O Lord, from the hands of the wicked. Protect me from the men of violence who plan to trip my feet. Proud men have hidden a snare for me. They have spread out cords of their nets and have set traps for me along my path. Your path as you walk through this life, the path you take and the people that you associate with will determine your outcome. Young people, you listen to me real close. If you're listening in, there is such a thing called as guilt by association. I've seen 3 kids in this area, good kids, that because they were with the wrong people at the wrong time, their lives are ruined forever. They are in the prison system and they are not getting out anytime within the next 30 years because they were with the wrong person at the wrong time, trying to hang with the crowd. Guess what? Guilt by association is just as guilty as a crime that the other kid did. When you're at your job, do people talk about you? They're going to talk, okay? Let me tell you that. It's part of the downfall of humanity. You try to build yourself up by tearing others down. Why? Are you so unsure about yourself and what you stand on that you have to tear somebody else apart because you don't feel good about yourself? There's an answer for that. It's called God. Okay? Do you feel so bad in the lifestyle that you're keeping right now that you have to destroy your own life? Because that's what you're doing. Get rid of that lifestyle. There's an answer for it. It's called God. Are you so regretful of your past, of things that have happened, that you don't know how to cope? There's a lifestyle, and there's an answer for it. It's called God. You have got to decide for yourself if you're going to join the new lifestyle and learn to trust in God to get your answers. People are people. Psalms was written 3,000 years ago, guys, if not farther. And everything I read just now is just as true today as it was then. People have not changed. But let me tell you something. The truth of this Bible is relevant today as it was yesterday. And it's going to be just as relevant today and just as tomorrow. The Bible will not change because man's heart has to change one person at a time. And the only answer you got for that is God. You have got to open up your heart. You cannot be setting traps for people. You cannot have the poison roll off your tongue. You know, in James, there's a little part in there, the strongest muscle in the world. That's your tongue, guys, and it can do the most destruction. But it's the strongest thing in your body. And you can do so much destruction with it. And you can do it either out of gaining pleasure or by causing other people's pain to go up. That's not what the tongue is for. People set snares and people always go after blood. We've had wars. We will always have wars. We will always have people that are not in one accord with each other. There's going to be a call for that too. That's called the great day of judgment when God comes back. There again, God is the answer. We have so much to do in this earth, and we have let sin take over this earth. We've got to come back to putting God first, pull ourselves up to try to emulate God and Christ, and then we can help others, but not until. We're fighting a battle. As believers in Christ, we fight this battle every day, okay? Dean had it right this morning, guys. If you listen to this morning's message, Satan, when that door opens, Satan comes through that door into your church. Satan comes through that door every time you open that door. He is in this world. He is bent in destroying this world. You have to be aware of what's coming and what is happening in this world, or else you're going to face dire consequences. People will always try to do damage. That's part of the sin nature of man. You, as a Christian, have got to stand above that. You have to be aware. Every Saturday morning, my wife will tell you, I send her a text from work, and I tell her, be careful, be aware of everybody around you. True? And I tell her I love her every morning by text because, hey, I'm out the door at 5:45. You don't poke a bear while it's still sleeping, man, believe me. Okay? She'll tell you that too. Leave me alone. Okay? But yeah, you have to be aware of everybody and everything that is around you in your daily life. You have to be the influence on them. Don't fall to their level and retaliate with them. That's the worst thing you can do. Okay? What you have to do is maintain your Christian appearance and maintain your Christian lifestyle and ethics and morals. Don't retaliate. Still show them love. What does it say? A good word is like heaping coals, burning coals on your enemies' heads. Okay? And that is true. Trust me, it's true. Okay? We're going to close on this one, guys. Let's go to 1 Peter. I told you I was bouncing all over the place. See, I'm smart, though. See, I got mine marked already, where I want to go. 1 Peter chapter 5. Listen close. We're going to go to verse 6. 1 Peter 5:6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. That due time is anytime somebody tries to antagonize you, retaliate against you for who you stand for, or try to harm you in any way. That is due time. If you trust in God, he will give you the patience and the attitude to deal with that person. Okay? Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. What makes you anxious? I know life bombards you. Life can get you down. But let me tell you something. If God is with you, you can get through all that. I'm not going to say he's going to take it away. Okay? Let me be the first to tell you that. But he will give you a ways and means of being able to get through it. Doesn't mean your anxiety is going to be gone. But it will be subdued quite a bit. Okay? The big one, guys, be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Woo, that is true. Resist him, standing firm in the faith, because you know that your brothers throughout the world are undergoing the same kind of suffering. We are sitting in the USA, a part that was unknown at that time to the rest of the world. Well, except for a few nomads that came across. But it's still true. God and those that are followers of Christ, let's put it that way, are being harassed and are maliciously being condemned all across this world. Okay? Now, because of that, I need to ask, in your little prayer circle, because guys, I know everybody's got their own little circle that they pray for. Okay? Mine is my church family, and then my country. But then sometimes I kind of forget. Okay? Honestly. I have to open up my circle for all believers. Everybody needs to. We have to open up our prayer circle for all believers throughout this world. That God's hand be upon us all. The persecution that's going on overseas is not too far from here. It started. It's been started for a while. But people haven't realized it. Oh, it's just something that they're going through. No, this was Satan himself that opened up the door, that got into our schools, that got into our churches, that got into our country, that got into our Congress. Okay? Don't underestimate what Satan can do being as devious as he is. He is the great liar. And he is running around, like it says, like a lion, waiting for someone he can devour. Okay? Keep your guard up. Be aware of your surroundings. Pray for yourselves, guys, before you go out that door. I have to warn you. Pray for God's guardian hedge around you. You have to pray that for yourselves. You also have to pray that for your circle. The ones that you trust, you love, you cherish, and those that are the others in the Christian faith. We have got to hold each other up daily. Daily. You can't just hit and miss. You got to think about this every day. I pray in my truck on my way to work. I pray in my truck on the way back home. Okay? I pray for forgiveness from my way back home. Okay? Because sometimes at work, sometimes my attitude doesn't show exactly what it should. But I have Satan pushing my buttons all day long. And it's just part of it. And I'm used to it. It doesn't mean it's good, but I'm just used to it. Okay? You have to decide what you are going to do and what you are going to stand for. Okay? I catch people all the time, and I'm real serious when I tell them words. And they just look at me. Well, what do you mean? I say, I don't want to hear that. What? Some of the words that you choose to say, I don't wish to hear them. Because when you start saying them, I start saying them. And that drags me down. So I don't want to hear that. I'm still got a lot of old school in me, a lot of military in me. So I have to really watch it. My wife will tell you sometimes I am as Major Payne in the movies. Okay? But I do have a good heart and I mean well. And God walks with me every day. He is part of me and He is inside me. And I trust Him immensely, more than anything else in this world. I trust God. Okay? So with that said, I'm going to say good night. Have a good night. Pray daily. Pray for yourselves. Know what's around you. Know who's around you. Satan is always right there, guys. Don't get it wrong. And I'm going to tell you this. As you're sitting in that pew at your church, look to your left and right and behind you, because Satan's there too. You just got to see him. Okay? So with that